Okay, by all indications, we're live. So now I'm going to do a sound check so that we don't run into the same issue as the first time. Shush. Shush. I still don't know what happened. Shush. Shush. Well, the settings, I didn't even change the settings that night. As soon as somebody told me about it, all I did was I refreshed that device and OBS. All I did was refresh it and it was working. Um, Now, it might be because the audio for the Windows is a beta, but whatever. So we are live. We actually have some viewers already. Dan, you want to start us off, or you want me to? Okay. Well, I am Dax, and this is the second monthly episode of Adeptus Carnivalum, where we talk about all things Battle Barge. I guess we're between Battle Barge 2025 and Battle Barge 2026, so it's is there a word for that? We need like a JLo term for 25 and 26. Why don't we take the 2 from 25 and the 6 from 26? So it's Battle Bars 26. Um, and I'm an independent artist and supplemental GM as well, and the GM for the Battle Barge. And all the art that you see on all of our live streams is coming from me as well. So it's all original. I have been a fan of the Grimdark, the original Grimdark, where the phrase was coined, since 1993. Maybe actually since 92, but I started getting into it in 93. So not quite the beginning, but damn close to the beginning. Damn close. And I have been, until 3 years ago, I had actually been out of 40K, um, stopped following it, and I would say for about 5 years I'd stopped following it. So once I got back in, it's a lot to catch up on because they have been putting stuff out exponentially. And I do have to say it was their side games, not 40K proper, that brought me back into the fold. I was really excited about all the smaller games that they were putting out. The reoccurrence of Necromunda, which was also big a long time ago. Um, and Underworlds, I thought was brilliant. Blood Bowl coming back, boom. So got back in. Ever since then, I've been trying to catch up to the lore, which is a task. By God, it's a task. But it is one that I have stepped up for. So I'm kind of the middle mark between the three of us as far as knowledge of the Grimdark goes. Um, yeah, and then I will be hosting the next, and we'll talk about this more in depthly later, but I'll be hosting the next Wrath and Glory live session for the Battle Barge as well. Take it away, Shelly. And retcons. Well, what we're talking about today, I think we're starting with Sororita, or at least that was the headliner for the stream itself, and it's for the next short story. In our first episode, we attempted to host a live reading of the short story, and we were actually just discussing and deciding that we're going to do them separate. That way, well, there's multiple reasons, but the biggest reason is because is so that way they can be looked up independently. Um, so we'll touch on Goeth before we all three know it pretty well. Um, we'll touch on the story Goeth before the fall a little bit. We'll set up the I guess the events that follow that, because they will lead into the third campaign live stream for Wrath and Glory as well, um, and um, and then we'll get it posted as soon as we can for the viewers. And Goeth Before the Fall, it follows mostly a single um, assault torpedo or boarding torpedo for the Ecclesiarchy, for the Sorda in particular, as they assault a Chaos fleet. Um, and it's a little vague in parts on purpose. Uh, One, because that's my writing style, which is infuriating to Dan, I know, but um, I the vagueness of it is also for setting up the future stuff. So, which it's kind of like the podcast is going to be. We're not gonna answer every question. Sometimes we'll just say you'll find out. But with the Sororita, it follows that torpedo, and their canoness is with them, or at least their canoness preceptor is with them, um, and they assault the flagship of the Chaos Fleet, of the Wordbearer fleet. Um, and there's a character kind of dear to Shelley, actually, in that assault. Ultimate martyrdom. I dig it. I didn't even know that. Yeah, I've liked the Sin Eaters in Catholic lore. Well done. Yeah. Right. I have to say, my favorite thing about the sororita is that their status is due to a technicality. That is the coolest thing. So, Shelley, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the Imperium outlawed men taking up arms for the ecclesiarchy. Yes, because of Van Deer actually, and so it was after that that they took or that they ordered that the ecclesiarchy will not have its own army of men at arms, and so the ecclesiarchy is like, all right, women at arms it is. So now you got tons of battle nuns. Yep, yep. What was that? There was a Black Library novel a few years back, and the sisters were fighting Necrons, and the Necrons employed a pylon, and it shut the sisters' powers down or their faith down. What book was that? Exactly. That was it was in the Pry Nexus, yeah. I don't remember which book it was though. Yep. It was eye-opening to fans. I mean, when I read it, I'm like, oh, well, that verifies some things, doesn't it? Well, see, but that's also the great misnomer is because the warp also has good stuff. It's just 40K, I mean, because what gets the sales is the conflict, right? So you don't see or hear about the good stuff in the warp. Like there's good angels in the warp. There's good warp entities, good versions of the demons. Well, no, there's some good ones. Like there's a couple of angels flying around the warp saving people. Until recently, they were thinking that the High Sanguinor, is one of them. So the cool thing about the warp is, and take everything that you see from 40K or Games Workshop, no matter who says it or puts it up, take it with a grain of salt because it could change later. Let me say that as someone who's been a fan since '93. Um, and I think that that's a lot of their MacGuffin. I think the whole time thing is they're like the stuff that Magnus did, going back in time. Horus played with time. Horus and the Emperor fought in 40K. In 30K, they fought in 40K. Like they were there for stuff that was happening in 40K. So they've got that ultimate MacGuffin with the timeline thing now, which worries me because some of the obvious, like the stuff they did with Sanguinius, is just such a steep right turn. Um, that's why I'm saying just take everything with a grain of salt because a month from now there could be a codex that says, oh, there are female custodians. Which that is the smallest one. That one I'm okay with. That one actually makes sense to me. So I'm going to laugh that people get so worked up over that one because to me, that one actually makes sense. There should be female custodies because it is the Astartes surgery that can't work on females, not the custodian implant. It's not even really an implant, but the custodian science is not restricted by sex. So that one doesn't bug me. But when you completely change Sanguinius's death, Dan, I'm talking to you, not you, but Abnett, Dan Abnett. I'm talking to you. That bugged me. Well, you get the emperor involved and things get weird. Go ahead, Shelley. Well, so mutation is in 40K. Mutation is reserved for warp or radiation, but the Primarchs were arguably mutated because of the warp, which is probably where you're getting that term from. So some of the yes, they're superhumans. Go ahead, Dan. Yep. But most of them just see them as angels. Yep. Like literally, a lot of the sororities see Astartes as angels, and I think it's 19 organs, if I recall correctly. 17, you get 17 organs at neophyte, and then you get two for the progression to full Astartes. And that's because I've got multiple people going through that apotheosis right now in my campaigns. Literally one, two, three people going through that right now in my campaigns. So they it was a superhuman program started by the Emperor of Mankind. Um, they had a mother figure that was not only one of the not only one of the heads of the program, but she was also kind of the one that sabotaged it. Although I mean, there's also illusion that Magnus going back in time sabotaged it a little bit as well. So between the two of them, the Primarchs, which was the original um, Astartes forebears. So he came up with the 20 Primarchs. That's where he got the gene seed, because you hear gene seed a lot. That's where he gets the gene seed for the superhuman Astartes. The Primarchs incubation pods were shot out into space, um, and most of the Primarchs have mutations, which is, I think, where you're coming from. Ergo, a lot of their gene seed has mutations. Um, with the Blood Angels, my chapter of choice, that is typically a foresight, as well as fangs, a thirst for blood, pale skin, and depending on who you read, really dark hair or really light hair. In most of the books, the Blood Angels all have black hair, but for some reason, when people paint them, they're always golden haired. So, in a lot of the colored exactly a lot of the colored artwork has them with the golden hair because of that. I guess it's because they're on a sand planet is where that's coming from. They're surfer vampires, man. And then Dan's got Fenrisian blood. Yep. They're the ones aren't the I think the fists are the ones that they don't use the belcher, and so it's like yeah, or Betcher, not Belcher, excuse me. They don't use the Betcher glands, and so it has become oh, what's that word? Just shriveled. There's a word. Yeah, there's a more scientific term that's escaping me presently. Atrophy works just fine. So yeah, I think you're right. I think the fist it's the Betcher gland they don't use, and so their Betcher gland is like a raisin. Yep. Homophagia. Yep. Yep. The soul drinkers, they had like an inflamed homophagia. Those are, if you ever start reading on the Astartes, let me tell you, Shelley, start reading the Soul Drinker books. They're so good. They're gone now. the Soul Drinkers, the Soul Drinkers are no longer with us. There was no way they could have survived, but they went out well, and their thing was they had an inflamed homophagia, so they would have rituals uh, where they would grab an enemy and all of them consume part of its brain so they knew what it was thinking tactically. Yeah, yeah. I had actually one of the other chaos group that you met, Dan, the Astartes Chaos campaign. They used their homophagia. They were like lost. They're like we don't really know where to proceed, and so the fallen the flawless host guy. He's like, well, we do have homophagia glands. I'm like, get it, boy, get it. And then their power armor is also talking about the Serapis. It is different than the sisters. The soror does have power armor based on the Astartes, but not the same. And it's hardy. The sororita are like the biggest chicks you've ever seen. Like all of them are Alona Mar, everyone, or Rhea Ripley. In fact, Gracil. So Gloriana was a character for you. Gracil in Goth for the Fall was my first Wrath and Glory character, and she was actually based on Rhea Ripley, though quite taller. So I mean, it's an entire army that for millennia have been training for what is typically given to only men. So it's a complete reversal to the course of femininity. I love them. I've always loved them because of that. Since the very first picture with the corset wearing canoness, I've loved the sororita. Um, I love them. Oh shit. No, we're welcome to. I mean, talk as much about it as I just reading it on the podcast is probably not the smartest idea that I've ever had. Yeah. 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 And for some factions more than others. Go ahead, Shelley. I heard you. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of that is you in our campaign at least with orcs, it's just kill or be killed. Just that simple. And I've already talked about it multiple times, but trying to have any sort of plot with that is the greatest challenge I've ever had as a GM. I'm like, I can't. I'm trying to push the narrative here, but I just can't. I don't know how to do this. Um, but yeah, it's in Wrath and Glory. It really captures that, and some of my players get worried when they join a campaign. I'm like, have a character, backup character, and they're just like, what does that mean? I'm like, it means you're the Grimdark. What is up, Carrie? I see you. Leg day. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You've got a leg lamp. Oh my god. Okay. with the leg lamp. Oh, that is brilliant. Ooh. Mm. Someday there's going to be a saint that gets jealous and is going to break it in the background. It was an accident. It was an accident. Ah, that is quality shit. Whew. Yeah. Sororita shit talk. That's peak peak sororita shit talk right there. Do you even pray, bro? We need a shirt of that. Remind me later. Uh, no, she's saying that she can't hear anyone else but me. It's work. It's on. Yeah, it's on though. I don't know why. Active, active. See, this is that stupid beta I was talking about. Hmm. Capture auto beta. Well, it is unfortunate. I'm pretty sure I heard Shelly earlier. I don't know when it popped off. That's what I'm checking right now. Yeah, she's right. Yeah, it's not showing or it's not saying y'all now or hearing y'all now at all. Let me see if I can fix that. I was saying the same thing too. Y'all keep talking while I work on it. Oh, nice.
Right?
Yeah, if one's not working, I can just use
Just
this
need to
one.
practice. That's another thing in your campaign. People can't hear us now, but the in your campaign, the sororitas use sign language,
Mm-hmm. A lot.
and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how like Lexi and I sat across the table, and we're sitting there, and every once in a while we're just like, fire. Now, today, fire. Must be patient. Wait. Wait. Fire? No, wait. It doesn't help that those signs are so similar.
Yeah. Uh, I need to get that that next section of that scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are all up and running
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
Can you hear me
awesome.
now?
Yeah,
Hello.
Yeah, I just switched it over to desktop audio. So the yeah, it's the equalizer's not even moving anymore
Mm,
from the Windows capture.
Hmm.
So that's what I was talking about earlier. It's in beta, and
got
I
it.
guess it's just not working no more. But desktop still
Oh,
is. So y'all are on now.
okay.
Okay.
Fantastic. Well, sorry we've been just yapping our jaws over here, sounding silent, but we'll work it out.
Something we were talking about briefly while Dax was working on fixing our audio is the sororitas using sign language,
Hmm.
actually.
Yep.
And during his campaign, his partner Lexi also, uh, and I both are like every once in a while trying to learn sign language. And so we'll be sitting on either side of the table signing to each other. And Lexi, who plays a seraphim, which is one of the sororitas groups, uh, and is always about burning things, like purging through fire, always going, fire? And Gloriana always responds, depending on the situations, like, must wait, must be patient.
Yeah, they have a
Yeah,
they have an they have a fascination with flames. That is for sure.
mhm, mhm.
Holy Trinity and all that.
Yep.
Purifying flame, purifying flame.
Hmm. And
And
we'll
they
burn it, melt it, or explode it.
and I think all custodies I think know sign language as well, right, Dan? Don't I think all
A
the
lot of them,
custodies?
yeah.
I think all of them do
Yeah.
because they work with the Sisters of Silence.
Yep. Which are
Ooh,
not sororitas.
what are the Sisters of Silence? I don't know this.
So the
Oh, you
Sisters of
want this one? He wants
Silence,
this one. They're so cool.
these ones are fun. So there's a thing called nulls out there. Nulls are humans that are born with a dampening aura. They don't show up in the warp, and they can actually basically make warp powers just stop. You can't affect them with psychic powers. A lot of them get recruited, and Sisters of Silence are a militant order of them, of female nulls, that basically work side by side with the custodies in a lot of ways to help protect them from psychic shenaniganry. But they, as part of it, why they're called the Sisters of Silence is they don't speak. They only speak through sign language, their own version of it.
They're kind of great. They have power armor as well.
Hmm. They
They
are
were they were a
terrifying.
secret. They were a secret for the longest time.
Hmm.
But
They're also
they've
the
been
ones,
around since the beginning. They've just been a very closely kept secret.
well, because they were also the ones that run the black ships, the ships that go from planet to planet collecting psychers to
Yep.
feed to the Emperor.
Yep. And cool thing
So,
about nulls, so since the you like the warp so much, so the warp is actually made up of emotion, basically. And so nulls, they don't portray emotion in the same way.
mhm.
And they have an aura of that about them. So people are automatically like they find nulls repulsive. And there's a really good set of novels I recommend for anybody getting into the 40K universe for the first time. There's a really good set of novels called Caiaphas Cain that follows this commissar, and his most loyal follower, and the one he is most loyal to, is in fact a null. Um, and he's just different. Like everything about him is just different. Um, when people get around him, they're repulsed by him, but they pass it off as it being his smell most of the time. So he's got like a repugnant odor as well. And so Caiaphas thought that that's what it was. So he kept him around because people didn't want to be around Jorgen. And Caiaphas didn't want to be bothered by anybody. So he kept Jorgen close to him and dealt with the smell because he wanted to keep everybody else away. And it took an inquisitor to tell him that there was something special about Jorgen.
A lot of people in the 40K universe think nulls have no soul because of the just eeriness most of them give off.
Yep. And the Imperium has a whole branch of what is the order the custodies fall under?
They're their own thing, custodies.
Yeah,
The
but they're
talons of the
it's
emperor.
not really, is it talons? It's something like that. That
Mhm.
might be it. Yeah, and the sisters are part of the same branch. Not
Sisters
really.
silence.
Sisters of Silence, yes.
Yep.
We don't call sororita sisters anymore. Sisters of Battle is a specific title in the sororita now.
Hmm.
Just like we don't say IG anymore. We've moved on.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Copyright things.
Right.
Well, Dax, you want to plug what you've got coming up next for folks?
God, you mean in
The
what? 3 weeks? It's 3 weeks,
Yeah,
right? From tonight?
yeah,
So 3 weeks from
yeah.
tonight, the Orc campaign ended last week. Um, and with the Orc campaign ending, we've got our Chaos Astartes campaign starting up. So 3 weeks from tonight is going to be the first session for the Swell, which is, I love that name. You can have so much fun with that. It's like
Hmm.
the campaign guide I made is the Swell Player's Handbook. It's swell. Um, and so it's going to be Chaos Astartes. Exactly right. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Swell. So it's Chaos Astartes, but if anybody wants to play a dirty Humi cultist, they can. And it actually picks up around the same time as Goeth Before the Fall, which is how we wedge this in here. So the same fleet battle that's happening in Goeth Before the Fall sees one of the another another big ship in the Wordbearer's fleet get downed on Equinor, and so this campaign's going to follow them. So all Wordbearers and all the stuff, I don't want to ruin any secrets, of course, all the stuff that they run into trying to um, reestablish connection and dominance in the system. 3 weeks.
Yep.
Sounds like a lot of time, but not to me.
It's not. It'll be here before we realize it. I was actually thinking about playing a Dark Apostle for you.
They're the best. They're the best. In fact, we could read
Hmm.
I guess I could read um, we'll read the info. It's short
Yeah, go for it.
for our viewers here since we got a
Give
bunch.
them an intro.
Yeah.
Do it.
And Shelly, you'll like this too. So I put a little bit of an intro into the word bearers as well. So this will not only catch you up on some of the narrative, not only give you an idea of where the campaign is going to start off and some of the dramatic personae, but it will also give you a little bit of know-how behind the know-how. Yeah, we'll keep it there. Know-how behind the word bearers. I like that. In an incalculable frontal assault, the treacherous hypocrites of the Imperial Ecclesiarchy assaulted our fleet as we prepared our own initiative against the Eldar ships in orbit. The attack crippled our Gladius-class frigate, the Curus, and sent it careening towards Equinor. Our ship's purpose is as bestiary for the word bearers in the sector. It is but a single squad of Astartes and some 20,000 cultists aboard as stable masters to the many beasts and demon engines of the Legion. Upon loss of the Curse's navigation, we plunged into the planet's atmosphere, where we lost most of our thrusters as well. Now we steel ourselves for our imminent collision and prepare to dispatch any aggressors which we may encounter with extreme prejudice. Glory to the eightfold truth. Lamston, first acolyte of the host of Pazuzus. So, word bearers. For more than 10 millennia, the primordial gods of the warp have steered the traitorous legions of the Chaos Astartes with fear, guile, and the temptation of power. That is not the case for the word bearers, however. Their fealty requires no steering. It is that they choose their paths, and those paths are traveled with the zeal of true believers, yes, but also the confidence of knowledge. It is the knowledge of an important truth, and that truth is that they were right. Their father was right, and the emperor, his father, lied. Known originally as the Imperial Heralds, the legion that would become the word bearers were once the agents of the Emperor of Mankind's reform. Their primarch and Genefather Lorgar was a man with a hunger for truth and a passion for the primordial forces. Or was it the reverse? Regardless, after the humiliation doled upon them and his sons by his Genefather, the Emperor, they would become the true architects of the Horus heresy. And when Horus was found to be no more than an embittered child, they would become the faithful arms of the eight powers of chaos in the mortal realm. Where the Imperial Heralds were responsible for the creation of Astartes' chaplains, the Word-Bearers saw the rise of Dark Apostles. Where the Imperial Heralds converted thousands of worlds to the Imperial cult, the Word-Bearers draw full societies to fill the cults of the Eight merely with the word of what was hidden by the Imperium. Where the Imperial Heralds fought against the intrusions of demons, the Word-Bearers summoned them as respected agents and to possess willing hosts to a far greater degree than any other legion. It is not a twisted homage to the Imperium of Man. It is the truth that the Imperium attempted to stamp out. They are not a copy. They are the original. They were right. The Imperium has no saints, no heroes, only psychosis, indoctrination. The Word-Bearers' greatest strength can be found in the Book of Lorgar itself. Their father founded the crossroads of truth and faith. There can be no life without chaos. All I ever wanted was the truth. Remember those words as you read the ones that follow. I never set out to topple my father's kingdom of lies from a sense of misplaced pride. Lorgar Aurelian, opening lines of the Book of Lorgar.
Blasphemy! That's the sororitas in my heart.
Oh, no, I got it. Yep. I mean, you're not wrong. It's still the truth,
Mhm.
but you're not wrong.
The Word Bearers were always one of those weird ones until I started reading a bunch of the Horus Heresy books, where I was just like, oh, these guys got some depth.
Yeah. That's everybody.
Like,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Everybody feels the same way.
Yep. And man, they haven't done a whole lot since the Heresy, but man, in the Heresy, they pulled some big stuff. Like, and honestly, two of my favorite characters in 40K come from the Word Bearers, and that's Argel Tal, because the man, the one of the original possessed of the Galverbach, and only reason I like him is because he's an excellent villain, Erebus, the actual architect of the whole heresy.
Love him
But
because
he
you
is
hate
that
him.
person. Yep, I love to hate him. He's that person that everybody, it doesn't matter who it is, if they had 2 bolt rounds and Erebus and anyone else, it's put both bolt rounds in Erebus just to make sure he's done.
Yep. I fully believe that Lorgar probably, I don't think he likes Erebus. I think that he put Erebus there because he couldn't have done that. But he knew Erebus could.
Well, Erebus was with in the kind of group with Corferon, the man that raised Lorgar.
Yeah.
And they were already working on bringing back the old Dark Faiths before that.
Oh, yeah. I think that, and that's, but I think his view, I'm just talking about Lorgar's viewpoint. Lorgar's viewpoint, I think, is opposite. I don't think Lorgar trusts Erebus.
Nope.
I think that it's like Megatron and Starscream.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend I had a friend that said, no matter what Megatron says about Starscream, when he changes into a pistol, whose hand does he fly into? So
Yep.
that's how I see Erebus with Lorgar. I think Lorgar used Erebus for what he knew Erebus was good for, and I think Lorgar knew that he couldn't do the shit that Erebus was going to do with Horus. I think he trusts his foster father way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Way too well. Did I think he did? Of course he doesn't anymore. Of course he doesn't anymore.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting. Anybody, if you can get your hands on a Word Bearers book from the Horus Heresy, read it. It's a great read. I have not yet found one that disappointed me.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it wasn't the Horus. It was the Horus Heresy, sure, but it was the fucking Word Bearer Heresy. The Word Bearers did the work.
Yep.
They were the architects, pure and simple. Calth was 100% Word Bearers. Word Bearers found Cadia. Hell. Yeah, and it's everybody's got the same reaction when you hear about Word Bearers. They're like, oh, they seem kind of boring, and then you're like, oh shit. Well, I'll be damned. They've got more depth than most Chaos Legions.
Yeah. For those that don't know, the battle for Calth was back in the Horus Heresy. It was a huge battle that basically pulled Macragge and Guilliman out of the rest of the heresy. They unleashed a warp storm that basically encompassed most of Gilliman's empire. And then the word bearers just started shooting the shit out of them from out of nowhere. Like, it was literally, what's up? Blam! Kind of situation. And it did a number on the Ultramarines. I wouldn't say it almost wiped them out, but it definitely caught them by surprise. A lot of their worlds were just ruined after that. And you also had Angron there for some World Eater fun to really tear things up. So,
In fact, it would have been a wipeout if someone hadn't turned traitor and told the Ultramarines.
mm-hmm.
They had like a super ship. They put a whole super ship together that had never seen battle
Three of them.
before. Well, I'm thinking of that big one, that new type of ship.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it.
There were three of them.
Were there three? I just remember
Two were
one.
destroyed in dry dock, and one managed to escape and was taken out by a small squad, which include Karn.
Well, no, I'm talking about the word bearer ship.
Yeah. The giant ships the three giant ships that they built.
That they chased into the into the eye? Okay. I don't remember there being three. Of course, it's been a while since that book came out.
Karn was... and what eye?
What's that?
Karn the Betrayer,
Karn.
The mortal champion of Khorne. This guy's so angry. He's been killing since the Horus Heresy. There's lore saying he's got a kill counter in his visor, and the number is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Whole reason he's called the Betrayer is because basically during a battle in a fortress, he got pissed off, grabbed a flamer, and just started burning everything in his path. Chaos, Imperial, didn't care.
And that reflects on the tabletop.
Mm-hmm.
For 35 years. For 35 years, Khorne has been killing Chaos Marines, basically.
Mm-hmm. And then the Eye is the Eye of Terror. It is a warp storm in the Materium that you could fly right into and fly into the warp. It's a miserable place. It is probably one of the worst places you can physically go outside of, warp travel.
Yep.
For the while, Cadia was the gateway to it. And it was the only stop off for pretty much any way to restock or anything. And that's why losing Cadia there kind of caused some problems.
Yep. After the word bearers found the Cadians and their mutation. So at the time, the Cadians were worshiping the primordial gods, which is the chaos gods. Primordial gods, chaos gods, same thing. And when the word bearers found them, I think the custodies were with them too, if I recall correctly. I think it was the word bearers. I think it was the word bearers and the custodies, because the word bearers, everybody was keeping an eye on them at the time, and so they had like a regiment of custodies with them. So after the word bearers encountered the Cadians, this Cadian sorceress, well, I say sorceress, she was a human. She actually she achieved apotheosis just to show the word bearers that the chaos gods were real. Like, that was her whole fucking point. She achieved apotheosis in front of them just to show that the chaos, that what Lorgar thought was real. And because of that, that's what made Lorgar go into the Eye of Terror. Word got back, and then Lorgar went to the Eye of Terror, and he's like, oh, well, look at this. I was right. Daddy's just one of the gods. That's all. Big fibber. And that changed everything.
Yeah. Yep. Horus Heresy can be boiled down to daddy issues.
God, yeah. Oh, you laugh, but it's like every Primarch has daddy issues. Magnus, daddy issues. The only one who really doesn't is Sanguinius. Sanguinius got to do whatever the hell he wanted.
Yep.
Like, even Sanguinius's planet can worship their gods. Nobody else got that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess is kind of daddy issues.
Yeah, he was the favorite.
Yeah.
Sort of. All right. Well, why don't we move on to the state of the Reach then? Calim's Reach, where Equinor is situated, and the prime setting for Battle Barge. We wanted to do a bit of a overview of the Put Rock Ear campaign to kind of let folks know what happened, do a quick synopsis, and talk about what some of that might involve for future shenanigans.
Yeah, let the players do that. For one, the audience has been hearing only me for 30 minutes. So for two, let's hear the players' version before I give the results as far as the tabletop goes. Let's hear the players' synopsis of the campaign.
Oh my.
I like that.
So, a whole bunch of orcs get together. They get told, go fix a thing. Go find out what's going on. Essentially, we're told, this is an oversimplification, told to go change a light bulb. So we grabbed a whole bunch of boys and we went on a rampage. We traveled down through this space hulk trying to get down to the lower levels because we were hearing there was problems going on. We got attacked by squigs. We got attacked by demons. We got attacked by a mad boy who we managed to convince to follow us, and man, was he clutch the rest of the game.
Absolutely. And then we went through a portal, and then the portal got us into the beaky. And then after the beaky disappeared, because we made him very mad, then we went and followed the beaky. And then we found a chicken, a very large chicken, and I wanted to let the chicken out.
So this gaggle of orcs who's now just blowing away pink horrors and blue horrors just stumble into a warp portal, and they find a Night Lord sorcerer who was gathering souls, doing some big ritual. Definitely did a number on us until literally we just kind of went, oh yeah, we're orcs. Whack. And then it was fun times through mini warp shenanigans. We stumbled through it, fought some more demons, eventually woke up. We found ourselves in a altar with a Lord of Change stuck behind like a force field.
That was my chicken.
It's a chicken, boss.
It's the chicken.
We murdered the crap out of the cultists that were probably trying to free it, which Yardy, Shelley, kept wanting to, let's free the chicken.
Oh.
So
I failed a willpower test against it, so it was more than just me being silly.
I forgot about that.
My character being a storm boy, I told one of his other storm boys to huck a grenade to try and deal with these. It worked out. It messed up the enemies, but it also dropped us through another portal because it landed like right on top of where the Lord of Change was. We found ourselves in a Necron complex, which was surprising. Got
Necron Zoo.
Yeah, we got popped up and down almost as many times as Necrons normally do. They messed us up bad. Wound up fighting our way through the complex till we found a spot to try and figure out what was going on, and our mech for hire, or mech boy, or what 1 billion teeth mech boy, figured out we could do some stuff, and yeah.
Not by making any tech rolls, though. Not by making any tech rolls. At no point did that guy make a tech roll, I don't think.
No, it was Yardy just making them all.
Yeah, the pain boy made all the tech rolls.
Mm-hmm. Like I said during the game, I just imagined Yardy with like needles in the other boy's brain, just doing the ratatouille.
It reminds me of a sitcom. Like I could see Crackjaw like, and Yardy's like, well, I think if maybe you move that over there and then type in this, it will probably open up his subroutine. Hush, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to move this over here.
Put in his subroutine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I got it.
And
good job.
Our shenanigans wound up with a Satan shard fighting the Lord of Change, And unfortunately, the Satan won. So now there's a Satan running around on the Space Hulk, probably murdering everybody.
Well, she got it contained.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the players can.
Yeah. Myself and our Ed Banga, we decided we were going to try and fight the Ferrac adult, and that went poorly. We got torn in half. The couple of us that ran, Yardy and our commando Smoke, ran into a kill squad of what looked to be Death Company. So yeah, those characters aren't around anymore.
To be fair, all of the player characters, you never saw their end. So if we show up,
Pretty sure you said one of. Oh no, it was one of
Mad Boy, the Mad Boy
Yeah.
got ripped into or
Yeah.
broke.
Yeah,
He
Mad
got
Boy.
got bent. So if we get to BB26 and there are fans of the campaign there, they're like, hey, what happened to Face Ripper? You know, maybe we can work something. Maybe we can work something out. But the
Do you have anything?
go ahead.
I'd say, Shelly, do you have anything you want to add?
That's what I was.
You
about
were
to
there
ask.
too.
That's basically the bit. Most of my memory is like through the filter of Yardy. So there's a lot of chickens and eggs and crumpin and a lot of sticking the other boys with a syringe to heal them. So
Hey, well, now it's time to ask questions. So there were a bunch of revelations and a few puzzles, and it's all going to result in where some of the factions find themselves in the narrative tournament on 2026 Battle Barge. So like the warp portal that you found it was a warp portal, but it wasn't to the warp.
yeah, it was its own unique space.
Yeah, it was a pocket warp. The Night Lord sorcerer that y'all encountered. So he was the last. He was the last Night Lord, and he created that warp bubble, um, basically for all the warp entities and warp powers on the Space Hulk. Because the Space Hulk itself, if you'll recall when y'all first got there, it could not penetrate the warp. Because the Blackstone pylons, the Blackstone emitters were working on what was left of the Necron tomb world. A good portion, if not the majority, of the Hulk was from a Necron tomb world that was wiped out. So the Space Hulk was literally bouncing off the warp. So the last Night Lord sorcerer used all of the power from the Night Lords before him, the sorcerers they had there, the psychers they had there. They all gathered it together, make their own little warp portal. So when you found basically where the horrors were leaking out of it, that's how y'all got into it and encountered all the cultists and Night Lord. It probably felt a lot like Silent Hill, with good reason. So you encountered Purgatory on the Space Hulk, basically. But then in taking out, so with two of the emitters slash pylons down, which were resulting from the fight, so there were basically a lot of things that could happen. But what y'all did was you forced the Satan to fight the Lord of Change, which is a pretty good tete-a-tete, in my opinion. And where you chose to have them fight, was right at the heart of the controls for the Tomb World. So the Ferroc was freed. Her name is Oldalt, the Scale. And the first thing she did after encountering y'all was she had to wrestle control from that Satan. So it did get put back under. We'll just keep using control, I guess. It did get put back under control, or her influence probably sounds better. But y'all's actions forced her to wake up her entire dynasty, like right then. So the Necrons that weren't,
Everything turned on.
yes, because y'all activated those protocols. Yep. And with the damage that the stand did, so she was forced to wake up the what was left of her entire dynasty on that Space Hulk. Um, and I think Dan's been wanting to talk about this, which opens up some cool stuff for Battle Barge 2026.
So with that, one of the big feedback we got from last year was players wanted to feel like they could influence the narrative more. So one of the things we're going to do this year is there's going to be a couple of options each day, and for each of our super factions, so Imperial, Chaos, and Xeno, there will be options that you'll be able to spend your campaign points towards to influence the narrative. This could be anything from who's the NPC faction to maybe you decide you want to help the planetary governor who's in exile currently and decide who he's going to side with at the end of Battle Barge by showing support, by spending your campaign points. It may help determine what factions are now ruling Equinor, at present. There's a lot of Xenos on that planet, and a lot of them are still vying for power, even though a couple have decided, no, I'm going to take this hemisphere. So that's one thing that people will be able to change. And it's one of those things of they might be kind of binary. So like with this, if there's a whole borderline dynasty of Necrons showing up, that could pose a big problem for a lot of people. So who knows? That might help force out the Eldar because of their ancient grudge, or maybe they replace the Tyranids as the primary NPC threat now. And then you've got Necrons all over the place instead of Nids. So maybe you just got to choose the worst, the lesser of two evils.
And Aldalt being Aldalt, she could also spell trouble for the Necrons on Equinor,
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's one thing that we wanted to do to try and help people feel like they can really affect the narrative for coming years. So whatever ends up being the highest decision on those various things, we will take into account and work into the narrative as things continue.
in addition to big choices during the tourneys too.
Correct.
There's of course going to be games that fit right into the narrative.
Mm-hmm. And some of those things could be, let's say you do decide you're going to help the planetary governor. Maybe he's got a whole stockpile of artillery over there, so maybe you end up with a special stratagem, or maybe some extra support that can come in. We're still working out a lot of the details, but that's where we're at right now, and we've already got kind of a outline of what we want to do, but this way the players at the event will have more impact on where the story goes.
And a lot of that is because the campaign's going on keeps a lot of that stuff in the air as well. So, yeah, for instance, Shelley is hoping, and I'm hoping, that she plays in the Ecclesiarchy campaign. So it's going to have this, by the end of the Ecclesiarchy campaign, that's going to have effects on the narrative as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did you successfully sabotage the Chaos Vessels? Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Or did you die valiantly trying to?
Yes. Did you take on the right hand of Pazezus and squash him, or did you fall to him? All that could be important.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far like this campaign, the orcs are also so. I mean, the Necrons could get reinforcements from Aldalt. The Necrons could be hindered because of this opposing dynasty. She is called
control.
Exactly. She's called the Scale for a reason. The orcs find themselves so when we saw the beginning of the campaign, the orcs were kind of in a bad place on Equinor, and even so, they sent a good portion of their forces to the Space Hulk. So y'all are still on the Space Hulk. There's a lot of orcs still at the Space Hulk when Battle Barge 2026 is probably going to start.
And, a giant mass like that just suddenly appearing in the atmosphere, that could have all kinds of terrible effects on a planet. So,
and y'all did break it up. So, getting rid of the emitters, pulling things back into the warp as you did, it fragmented the Space Hulk. It's not as big as it was, but it's still massive. Um,
Mm.
and it's kind of like a
Oh, I didn't want a smaller rock.
it's
Why'd I make it
smaller.
smaller?
It's smaller. It's smaller, and it's got orbitals. So it is not as so basically it's not as impactful, pun intended, as it was, but it's more defensive. Like taking the Space Hulk out is going to be harder now because it's got orbitals. The orcs leaving the Space Hulk is going to be harder now because it's got orbitals and it's got a tail, and they're on the tail. Um, but the impact, if it reaches Equinor, is not going to be as massive as it could have been. Um, what else? So the y'all encountered Blood Angels on the
Was a
Space Hulk.
surprise at the end there.
So from as y'all lucked out, the players lucked out because one of the orcs could understand Low Gothic, and um, the humans that they encountered still spoke a branch of Gothic. Um, so you gleaned that they've been there 3 to 4 millennia. There was a faction led by Night Lords that they were down to one Night Lord, and then a faction led by Warriors in Black. And at the end of the campaign, y'all found out that they were Death Company. So there is a 3 to 4 thousand year old society, basically, built from blood angels and um, imperial humans on the asteroid or on the Space Hulk as well, for wherever that may lead in Battle Barge 2026. And these blood angels are much paler skinned, uh, pointy ears, and the few that had hair, it was long white hair. So, things that make you go, hmm. And I think that's it for the wrap up of the campaign.
Yeah, yeah, it's and I'm looking forward to the next two because those are going to make some other big decisions. Like, if a very important ship goes down on a planet, maybe that's going to mean something for the campaign, like a point of interest.
Yep. And maybe the stuff in it can have an effect as well.
Hmm. I mean, we're just going to unleash a zoo of demons and demon engines. It's fine.
Hells
Fine.
yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. It's like the Scorpion song, right? Da-na-na, na, na, da-na-na, na.
All right. So let's see what else we got. Dax, you want to talk about the story that you posted?
The Tau story is posted. So we are, as we were just talking, well, so in the first 30 minutes, things you may have missed out on um, because I don't listen to myself ever. We talked about how we're going to release the short stories. My idea of putting the short stories on the podcast was a horrible idea, as we found out, because who knows what's going to happen, especially with this stupid beta audio. Um, so we will be posting the videos separate, and in addition, some of the short stories are going to be posted on my ArtStation. Because writing is art as well. And you'll find the first link actually right down there to the Tau story. Because basically every microfaction is well, not microfaction, because microfaction would be different,
Mm-hmm.
like Tau Fleet, I suppose.
Subfaction.
Subfaction. So each subfaction is going to have their own story. Most of them are going to be included in more than one because intrigue is the name of the game in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
The intrigue's always been a huge thing for me, but it also, both intentionally and inadvertently, intrigue became the name of the game in enforcing um, the player's effect in the narrative, as Dan was explaining. So with the single gripe being more of an impact on the narrative, this is the best way to do it. And each of the short stories will involve multiple subfactions, but it will also focus on one, except for one short story. It will focus on one subfaction. Damn, I got to make things complicated, don't I? Except for the
Yep.
rift. Except for the rift, it's going to focus on one subfaction.
Mm-hmm.
So um, We've got one posted on my art station. Links down there. Hopefully by Sunday, the Rift will be hosted on my art station. So when we put the next video up, I'll put that link there as well as just putting it in a reel probably. I've been doing tons of reels lately. So the Tau story is up now. Go read it. It's a favorite of actually the Rift has been the favorite of the majority of people that have read them of mine. But people like the Tau story just as far as cool points go. It's cool. It's one of the cooler ones. But and it's also got original art. And then tomorrow we will have a wrap up of the Orc campaign as well, and I'll post that as well. The what's the short version of the Tau story is the Tau are not doing well. As far as the Xeno go, the Tau have probably gotten the worst. There are hints in the Eldari short story about what happened, but in the Tau short story, you get to see how much of their forces were wiped out. There aren't many left. So when Battle Barge 2026 starts, the Tau are not starting in a good situation. We'll say that.
Now that won't affect people who play Tau, but it might give them some incentives to do certain things that might come up.
Correct. And when you read the short story, that'll make sense. Your Tau force is fine. If you show up, if 20 people show up to play Tau at the tournament in September, that's fine. It's still going to make sense. But the Tau that were on Equinor got decimated almost to the man. So read that short story, you'll understand that a little bit better. But Tau are not in a good spot. And there's pretty much nothing but questions at the end of the short story. But what was I said we're going to say going forward? You'll see. You'll find out. That's where we are on that.
Yep. We have some others we're in the works of. We're going to try and record some. We're working on that, seeing if we can get those. We can post those up as time goes on. But we've got quite a few, and we'll have more even coming down the pipe. So that'll be fun. So why don't we talk about some of the general movements of what's going on around Equinor right now? So we've got the Chaos Fleet. It's run by Pazuzus, who is a Wordbearer's Lord on his ship, the Corypheus. Saying that right, Dex?
Well, Corypheus? he is the Corypheus. Or no, sorry, his Corypheus is the Wordbearer leader that Gloriana is facing down at the end of Goeth. So the Corypheus is a title. The Lord of a Host hands down title of Corypheus to their most trusted. It's basically a general to their most trusted general in the Wordbearers ranks. And at the end of Goeth before the fall, Gloriana is staring down that Corypheus. So in 3 months and 3 weeks, we'll get to see how that ends up. But yeah, Pazuzus is the Lord of the Host right now.
And the Chaos Fleet, since last year was a Xenos victory, surprisingly, by a very narrow margin, the Chaos Force have been forced to basically become fleet-based. So they are currently blockading the planet, making it difficult for really anybody to get in or out. They are making life difficult for everyone, but they might have some problems with, a certain rock shows up. On the side of the Imperium, most of the Imperial forces have evacuated Equinor primary planet and have moved up to the moon of Druna. On Druna, there's a old, large fortress that used to be a planetary defense network that a couple of people, which you might read about here before too long, have reactivated. The whole fortress was shut down because of an administrative rounding error, literally. So they're getting up there. They are trying to get themselves situated. The ecclesiarchy is kind of leading the charge at this point because they feel that the lack of faith is what caused the losses on Equinor. Fortunately, that has put them at odds with the planetary governor, who is currently missing, and they want for questioning. He may be on the planet. He may have hightailed it out there, but the governor is somewhere and doing a thing. Let's see. Yep. And then we'll touch more on the Xenos as we go, because we want to touch a little bit on each of them individually. But we've definitely got some fun things in mind for the setup for Battle Barge 2026.
And that even includes player characters, starting probably this weekend, if not next week. Player characters from 2025 Battle Barge will be showing up in the narrative.
Mm-hmm. Well, so now we can talk about some stuff that's been happening in 40K, because, man, there's been a bunch coming. I know there's a rumor that Adepticon in, I think it's like a week or two, they're going to start previewing. Yep, they're going to start previewing stuff for 11th, which could be really exciting.
I think they already have. I think it already started.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the 500 Worlds campaign, which is their thing. They do a series of books at the end of a cycle, and usually leads into the next couple of things. We've got Iron Warriors all over the place. Some of those new models are gorgeous, especially that new Defiler. Looks so good.
And the melee obliterators.
Mm-hmm. The Maulers.
Yep.
And then I'm excited they're bringing Apocalypse back.
We're speaking Greek. We're speaking Greek to Shelley now, completely Greek.
Yeah, not fully.
Throw in questions. Throw in questions anytime.
Yep. No, so if I remember correctly, like this morning, my husband showed me a video of that Commissar Yarrick is back.
Mm-hmm. Just got previewed with a new model.
Mm-hmm. I have to laugh because the last Wrath and Glory session we had a Cyber Mastiff in our group who perished, and the nickname for the dog was Yarrick.
Nice.
So I can't help but match parallels. Like, clearly.
His soul was freed from the Cyber Mastiff he was trapped in.
Well, that's why he's back right there. Yeah. Y'all did
it. Rumors of his demise were greatly exaggerated.
Yeah. The most two-dimensional character in the Grimdark is back. I've never been a fan. I had the first Armageddon book for ages too, mind you. I kept it until it fell apart. I mean, because Blood Angels, Salamanders, Black Templars, Steel Legion. Oh my God, that was a massive release for such a little book. For such a little book, such a massive release.
But then there's also the Apocalypse rules they're releasing for the giant games of 40K. I know in the past there were some issues. An Apocalypse game is one you got to dedicate a whole day to. Because it can be anywhere from 3,000 points to, I think the biggest one I've ever played was 20,000 points per side. So 10 times your standard army size.
I knew Apocalypse games that were weekend events, man.
Yep.
Weekend events. So basically, Shelley, Apocalypse is 40K on steroids.
Yep. Bring all your toys, put them on the table, take them off by the fistful.
Yeah. Kill Team is 40K on speed. Apocalypse is 40K on steroids. From 2,000 points to 9,000 points.
Yep. So I'm curious to see what that's going to do, because that is one of the things we're planning to do for Battle Barge in 2026. Is we're probably going to do an Apocalypse challenge one of the days and see what happens. So more details will come on that once we've got some more information. I'm kind of waiting to see what they do with this Apocalypse book. But you never know. There could be some shenanigans.
Yeah. Saying
I own way more Tyranids than I probably should, but you might see a whole bunch of Tyranids on a board.
Here's hoping they steer more towards the first edition of Apocalypse. I liked all the big guns and insta kill shit. It helps speed the game up.
18 hours.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I built all sorts of, I built rocket, like a big boy mech shop for Apocalypse. I built a rocket in its silo.
Hmm.
My goodness, when Apocalypse came out, it was the Bizom. I built a brass scorpion before Forge World did.
Nice. Um, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I've always had a lot of fun with Apocalypse games. I've done a couple of them over the years, and aside from like, oh look, that turn took an hour and a half. Now I get to shoot back. Excellent.
Yeah. With the right amount of alcohol, though, that wasn't a problem. We
Beer hammer is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, when Apocalypse first came out, we were lucky enough to be friends with one of the owners and operators of, well, both the owners and operators of a couple of hobby stores. So we got to stay after hours and bring in the alcohol for the Apocalypse
Hmm.
games. It's good times.
Holy.
And if that's not dating me, the fact that I could legally drink, the fact that I could legally drink when the first Apocalypse came out.
Alrighty. Well, do we have anything else we want to chit chat about? I'm sure we could sit here and BS all night, but got to end it at some point.
I mean, yeah, I do think it's funny that now that Year of Chaos is over, all the Chaos releases are coming out for
Hmm.
40K.
Hmm.
That's like the best thing. I'm gonna cross. It sure seems like Perturabo is probably around the corner. I'll forever keep
Definitely seen that.
Perturabo.
Perturabo is the Primarch for the Iron Warriors, one of the Chaos Space
Okay.
Marine legions.
Nice.
Yeah. Starting 15 years ago, Primarch started showing back up on the tabletop. Or I guess not back up, but started showing up on the tabletop. They started showing up back in the story.
Magnus, I think, was like 10-ish years ago. When he first got a model, I mean.
I think it was 15 when the first one. Wasn't it 2011?
No, because No, because Magnus didn't show up till 7th, 8th edition.
Oh, that does make me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But basically, so you remember me saying Primarchs of the Astartes? The first of the super soldiers, the ones that got shot out all over the place and mutated, and their chapters came from them. Shelley?
Mm-hmm.
The Primarchs. So a lot of the Primarchs are still around.
Mm-hmm.
The Blood Angels Primarch is not, and he should stay that way. Dan, I'm talking to you.
Yes, I'm aware, but he may come back as a
No,
triumvirate or
Dan
something.
Abnett. I'm talking to Dan Abnett again. No, so there are dead Primarchs that should stay dead. There are some dead Primarchs that could come back, and I'd be okay with that.
Dead.
Yeah, I mean, if Yarick is back, because that fucker died. I'm sorry. If Yarick is back, anything is game. I just, as much as I love Sanguinius, and as much as I'd love to see Sanguinius show back up, I don't want to see Sanguinius show back up. It would ruin Sanguinius more than it would be cool, in my humble opinion. Ferris, I want Ferris to show up, but not as
Actually get something to do, since
but
he got
not
chinsed
as
out.
yeah. But I don't want him to be Ferris. I think I've had this opinion forever. I think that the skull that the Legion of the Damned is hauling around is his skull.
Quite possibly.
Because it's a big ass skull. And Shelley, we lost Shelley again. So the Legion of the Damned are basically they're Ghost Rider Marines.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch
They
of
show up out of nowhere and do their thing.
Yeah. There's a bunch of Space Marines in black armor with flames, and their heads are on fire with skulls like Ghost Rider.
Nice.
And they show up out of the warp always when the Imperium is losing the fight and turn it around. And you've been able to
always, but
well, the terminology, as soon as I said it, the terminology is skewed. It's kind of ambiguous the way I said it.
Mm-hmm.
When they show up, They show up to assist the Imperium, who is being crippled. Um, except for in a short story, which I'll talk about later. So they're these spectral space marines that show up out of the warp, out of nowhere, and save the day. And they don't say anything. Their dead are never left behind, and they just leave once everything's done. They just whoop, walk back into the warp. And they've been around for like 30 years. 30, is that right? 30 years? Yeah. They've been
They've
around
been
for
around a
about
long time.
They've been around for about 30 years, and you could play them in your army. They've never come out with rules. I still think they don't have rules to play an entire Legion of the Damned, but
No.
people have built Legion of the Damned armies nonetheless.
Mm.
And there was a short, because I follow the Black Library short stories, which Shelley, you would fucking love them. They've got a series of horror. No, seriously, they've got a series of horror short stories that they're like monthly. And one of the horror short stories was about a Legion of the Damned that was captured by this Inquisitor. And dude, it was pimp, and it got freed on the ship.
Spam.
It was so cool. It was so cool. It got freed on the ship and just went on a tear. Oh, it was such a good one. But so the Legions of the Damned, they they carry this. They like, in fact, they assaulted this place to get it back. They've got this giant skull that they carry around, and rumor has it that they indoctrinate new Legion of the Damned Marines on that skull. Like they touch that skull and become Legion of the Damned Marines. I think that it's Ferris's skull.
There is a story with the Legion of the Damned where there was a much larger Marine that also showed up
Yeah.
during one of the battles,
Yeah.
and like noticeably larger, which also would kind of follow that idea. And with Ferris Manus's like famous catchphrase of "the flesh is weak," it would make some sense and give some interesting ideas.
Yeah. Because all the Primarchs are, they're tied to the warp.
Mhm.
What's his? Not Kurz, Corvus. Corvus showed up recently, and he's super warped powered. He's like a giant half crow that can turn into a flock of crows.
Mm-hmm.
It's super speedy. So,
And he's hunting Lorgar. I just imagine him just sitting out on a tree, just watching Lorgar's tower, just like, come on, I know you're in there. Give me the chance. I'm gonna get you,
dude. And I want to see Lorgar. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. I
mm-hmm.
know Perturabo is around the corner, but could you just imagine what Lorgar is gonna be like?
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine what he's gonna be like. Because in the middle of the heresy, Shelley, Lorgar he was just like a scholar. He was just like this priest, right? And then all of a sudden, in the middle of a showdown, he's like this all-powerful psyker. Just boom! Oh, by the way, I'm a psyker, and fuck you, Gilliman.
Yep.
um,
I'm gonna wreck your day.
yeah, he literally turned into one of the most powerful psychers in existence in a day, basically, just out of nowhere. Oh, I went to the Eye of Terror, and now that I know I was right, I'm one of the most powerful psychers in the fucking galaxy. Is what that is. So I can't wait to see what Lorgar looks like. And he is still around.
Yep.
Perturabo is still around. There's been stories with Perturabo. Lorgar is still around. Russ is still around. I don't care what anybody says. Um, somebody was saying something about Dorn, but he can't be back until they find all the pieces.
That's Vulcan.
Vulcan.
Dorn is missing. They only ever found his hand.
I keep confusing the two verbally because they've both got multiple artifacts spread out. Yes, I meant Vulcan. So Vulcan can't be brought back until they find all the pieces. But Dorn, somebody said that he's about to come back as well. Although I haven't researched who said that. There's so many rumors going around. Perturabo seems like more than a rumor at this point.
Oh, the rumors I've been hearing suggest that Russ might be next, especially with the big Space Wolf release line refresh they did. And there's a lot of talk about there might be a big push on Terra here in the near future. Whether that's NIDS, whether that's Chaos, anybody's guess.
Well, the back of the Space Marine, the limited edition Space Marine book too, hinted at Russ. Did you ever see that?
Mm-hmm.
It was like some hybrid wolf eagle on the back of the Space Marine book.
Yep. But it's anybody's guess at this point. I imagine they probably got a bunch of them ready and they're just waiting for the right time to drop them.
Yeah.
Because I know the Desolator Marines, the missile boys, I was hearing that those have been done forever, and then they were just kind of like, we need a release. Here we go.
I do like and I was going to say this earlier, I do like the emphasis they're putting on the lesser known chapters / Legion. No, just chapters, I guess. The Red Corsair is getting such a showcase. That was really, really cool. And the Carcharodons,
they're rumored, yeah.
I like that they're getting center stage right now. With Tiburon, what's his Tiburon, right?
Tiberius, the Red Wake.
Is it Tiberius? I always get his name.
Or Tiberus or whatever.
Tiberus, yeah.
Very much looks like.
I think it's Tiberus. He was nearly assassinated. He's probably going to be crossing the Rubicon Primaris very soon. I bet. I bet that's where they're headed with that. So the Space Sharks chapter, Shelley, has like the biggest Space Marine there is. He's so big they had to make special armor for him.
Yep. Yeah, it's a little silly. But that's Forge World for you.
Yeah, the Carcharodons are silly, but they're also kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. All
right, guys. I actually need to call it for the night.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think we were kind of winding down, so.
Yep.
Good place to call it there, and.
Yep. And so next time. I'll wrap up while we're wrapping up. So behind her is her chalk art. Since we missed y'all's introductions earlier, Shelley is an artist as well. Those are her chalk arts in the back. Dan is the tournament leader for Battle Barge, as well as what would you call it? You called yourselves creator
of a LARP in Ohio known as Memories of Greywind. I'm sure we'll get the link there in the description at some point.
Yeah. Send it to. I don't think I have it, so send it to me and we can definitely get it on there.
Pretty sure I sent it to you in our chat. So
did you? I didn't see it. I thought I got them all, but I'll find
just today.
Oh, okay. I was probably working on OBS, so I'll get that updated.
Probably.
Well, good time, everybody.
Yep.
Catch you on the flip side.
Have a good one.
All right.